Well, the journey begins, and Kipchoge has asked for split times on one of the leading vehicles for every 200 meters for the first 2 kilometers, and then every 500 meters beyond that, and that is quite something. I mean, so meticulous and detailed, and we'll see how that affects how the rest respond to him and the way in which the race unfolds.
That is unprecedented, isn't it, Stuart? We've never had that in a race before in all the years we've been covering marathons all over the world, and I think that's probably borne out by his experience in Monza. Many of you may remember that he did what's been called a lab test back in May in artificial, illegal circumstances and just outside the magic 2-hour mark there. But I think he learnt a lot from that experience. And we will try and bring you as much of that information as we can. As Stuart was saying, split times every 200 metres for the first kilometre and then 500 metres there.
Stay with this. Look at this. The warm-up. Wonderful celebrations at the start, waiting to get underway.
Well, this is a repeat of what's known as the Icelandic hand clap, isn't it, from the European Football Championships last year. Let's just, well, it's a shame we couldn't stay with that, because it just starts very slowly and then rhythmically gets louder and louder and louder. It's a wonderful way of looking at the enthusiasm. The pace would be matched by this leading group. We still have 5 of the big names there, including, of course, the big 3, as we've called them, in there. And I think once we get to the 30-kilometre mark, Stuart, then we can start getting things interesting. The racing.
Have a look. Let's have a look. He's got his drink. Took his drink. And then he falls away and rolls off the track.
Well, that's extraordinary, Stuart.
It is, yeah.
Absolutely no hint at all that that was going to happen. That looked to me premeditated. He got to the 30k, and there he is, deep in conversation. And we shall try and find out what the reason was. But there was no sign for me, Stuart. That was imminent.
No, not at all. I mean, he was absolutely in the lead and looked very comfortable, and all of a sudden it had gone. I mentioned they are 70 metres behind the world record at the moment. Look at this. Adola's gone into the front. He's gone into the lead. He's running away. Adola's pushing on. Look at this. This is impudence like you've never seen before. We said early on that Kipchoge had not had that long to recover from the Monza 2 hours and 25 seconds, but look at this. This could be sensational.
Well, this is a story, isn't it, unfolding here?
Unbelievable story unfolding.
But Adola isn't finished yet. Can Adola, the young pretender, summon one last effort and upset the form book here?
Kipchoge looks comfortable still, and look at him. There's a little bit of a gap, just a little bit of gap. What will that do to the psyche of the young man? The young man who's come here running his first marathon. Look at this now, the gap. It's subtle. It's just begun to move away just a little bit. Whereas Adola, his break was not significant, and at the moment with less than 2 to go now, Kipchoge starts to move away from the young man. Winner in 2015 in 2:04. Big smile on his face. He is such a great competitor. He's won 7 of his last 8. Is it going to be 8 out of his last 9? He is the Olympic champion. But what he wanted, above all, was not only to win this, but to break the world record. And it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen today. Look at that gap now. Adola is finished now, I think. I don't think he can come back from this. I've said that before and said, well, I regret that. But you're talking about a different class here. Eliud Kipchoge, the champion in every sense. He is magnificent. Magnificent.
Well, it's extraordinary, isn't it? It was a steely determination. He was very bullish in his press conference on Friday, talking very positively about 60-45, 60-50 for the first half. Just to remind you, they went through in the end in 61-29, so it was outside that. But Kipchoge is so strong mentally. And look at that. He is enjoying himself here on the streets of Berlin.
He's now in full flight, the Olympic champion. the best marathon runner the world has ever seen, heading now towards the finish, ahead of a young man who's acquitted himself so unbelievably well in the form of Guye Adola of Ethiopia. But then once they get to the Brandenburg Gate, there's 400 meters through to the finish. But Kipchoge always had that little look of confidence on his face, even when Adola ran away from him. Even explaining to the young man the blue line is the shortest possible route in this marathon. That's what you should run to. He had the confidence to tell him, let him run away, come back past him, and run away from him again. It really is a master. He is a master technician, a master tactician, a man with tremendous physicality, a man with a psyche that will not allow him to be beaten. The crowd now is vast down by Brandenburg Gate. He is absolutely in full flight now. Total and utter control throughout this race. We saw the demise of Bekele at 22 kilometers. We saw the demise of Kipsang at 30 kilometers. And then, of course, a young man, a young pretender, Guye Adola, has never run a marathon before, looking very, very tired now, tried to test the master, and he did for a while. But with 400 meters to go, Bekele and Kipchoge is going to come through to take this. The world record is not going to be broken today, that's for sure. The weather didn't allow that. That's a shame, because we had the very best in the world come together. But this man is, without any doubt, without any question, the best marathon runner we've ever seen. Fabulous, fabulous tactician, from world champion at the age of 18 over 5,000 meters to winning 8 now of his last 9 marathons. He will not be beaten. He's only been beaten once, and that was by the man that dropped out at 30 kilometers. Only once, and it took a world record to beat him on that occasion. Kipchoge of Kenya looks up at the clock. It's not the fastest time we've seen here, but I tell you what, it's been one of the most enthralling races I've seen here. Kipchoge is the winner of the 44th Berlin Marathon. A sensational piece of tactical running, 2:3:31 unofficial, outside of the world record, the 3rd fastest time of all time, and this has got to be the fastest debut ever. It has to be from Adola. The tacticians may correct me, but I think that is 2:3:46 has got to be the fastest debut ever. That is absolutely incredible run by a young Ethiopian who came here with a half marathon best of 59:06. He was an absolute outstanding in the first half of the race. And Kipchoge at one stage was teaching him. This is the blue line, he said. This is the shortest way. And my goodness me, what a race in the end, and what a masterful piece of tactical running by the greatest marathon in my book of all time, Kipchoge of Kenya.
2 hours, 3 minutes and 32 seconds, coming from Kenya. Congratulations to Kipchoge.
Kipchoge, the greatest marathon in my view of all time. Astonishing performer. He's won 8 of his last 9 marathons. Just to repeat that world record to do that, 2013. But this day was his. Technically, tactically, he got it totally right. The weather didn't allow the world record to be challenged seriously. The rain came down and spoiled his day. But it will come. Not today, but it will come. One day, he will hold that world record too. The Olympic champion, only the 2nd Kenyan to have won that Olympic title. Fabulous, fabulous competitor. Won the Olympic marathon by the biggest margin for 44 years, a 70-second. Kipchoge, there's 4th, 5th and 6th and the rest, but what a race between the top 2. A young Ethiopian. Remember the name, Guye Adola, because he'll be the man to get invited now, as well as this man. another watch to that massive collection. Well, certainly congratulations to this man who really defies all description in terms of marathon running. Well, this was a day in which we expected the big names, Bekele, Wilson, Kipsang, to come good. Bekele dropped back at 22 kilometers, Kipsang pulled out at 30 kilometers, and then really this was a story of the day, not the world record, but one of the emergence of yet another Ethiopian in the form of Guye Adola, who ran such a fabulous time, inside 2:4, for his very first ever marathon, ahead of another Ethiopian, Mosinet Geremew. It was a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed it. There's been some super competition, and will we see Kipchoge break the world record? Yes. But here, on the occasion of the 44th occasion of the marathon, from Chris Dennis and from me, Stuart Story, goodbye.